but this application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Again, for these public meetings, will also be available on the township's website. Please remember, this meeting is being video and audio recording and will be posted to the township's YouTube channel for you. The meeting is now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
Good evening. We'll call this meeting to order. Welcome to the Monday, July 14th, 2025 Board of Supervisors meeting. I'm joined in the room by Mr. Corey Meyer, Mr. Ted Gallagher, Vice Chairman Mike Thornton, and Mr. Roger Buck. We'll rise and join in the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there any public comment for any non-agenda items? No, hearing none, we'll move on. Just one item of note, we did meet prior to this meeting for an executive session regarding a real estate matter. So we'll start off with our consent agenda. Quite a few items on here. I'll read through them as best as I can. We have item 4A, approval of the July 14th Board of Supervisors meeting agenda. Item 4B, approval of the minutes of the Monday, June 16th regular meeting. Item 4C, financial security release for 2023-03 Stephen Byler at 47 Hartman Bridge Road. Our township engineer recommends a full release of the funds being held. We have item 4D, financial security reduction for 2013-37 Amos and Sadie Byler at 2725 Lincoln Highway East. There's been a couple issues from our engineer on this, and so our engineer is recommending no funds be released from the financial security being held. The applicant currently owes the township $2,137.41 to bring their escrow account up to date. So that'd be for a $0 reduction. And then we have item 4E, a time extension to record conditionally approved plan for Elmer Petersheim, 2024-12 at 702 Hartman Station Road. And this would give 180 days. So should the applicant wish to move forward with the approved plan, that would need to be reported by January 10th, 2026. Item 4F, time extension to record conditionally approved plan for Omar Fisher, 2024-19 at 2008 Horseshoe Road. So they're working on finalizing the plan and providing that to us for review within 180-day time extension. So should the applicant wish to move forward with the approved plan, it would need to be recorded by January 10th, 2026. Item 4G, time extension for action. Calico Creek Land Development Plan 2025-05 at 2331 Lincoln Highway East. Applicants offering a 128 time extension to November 11th, 2025 for the board to take action. And that would be right at our November 10th meeting. We have item 4H to appoint Kimberly Strack as Assistant Secretary and Treasurer for East Lampeter Township. Will be introduced to her later this evening. She is our new Township Assistant Manager who started on July 8th. We have item 4I, approval to pay invoices from all funds for a total of $495,408.62. A few items to note that are larger: $14,490 to Whitmer Fire Company for reimbursement for vehicle fleet insurance. $14,000 to the State Workers Insurance Fund for fire service workers' comp coverage. Installment number 6, $13,970 to BR Kreider for ADA sidewalk adjustment related to the 2025 paving projects. $10,671.82 to Butler Mechanical for generator maintenance, radiator replacement. $21,910.64 to CBW Government Inc. for security software related to virus protection and multi-factor authentication. Make a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through I. Second. All right, we have a motion by Mr. Gallagher, a second by Mr. Meyer. Any board comment or public comment on the consent agenda? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. We have no items for old business. Under new business, we have 6A Texas Roadhouse Land Development Plan 2024-18 at 2317 Lincoln Highway East. Is there anyone here for this?
Hi, yes. My name's Jillian Konarski, and I'm here representing Texas Roadhouse. I was trying to start my video, but it wasn't allowing me. I'm not sure. There we go. Hi, nice to see you. I'm here on behalf of this application for a dining room addition to the existing Texas Roadhouse restaurant. It would be roughly 406 square feet with 26 additional dining seats.
Excellent. And have you received the letter from David Miller Associates dated June 20th?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's all there. Where are we at with the school planning module?
I'm sorry, you cut out. Could you repeat that question? My apologies.
Sure, just wondering where we're at with the DEP and the sewer planning module.
Oh, yes. So I provided in with our resubmission the email correspondence. And so the DEP said that they defer locally because they believe the addition to be minor. So we're still working through the local approvals to then send it back to the gentleman at the DEP.
Karen?
The option to not do a sewer planning tool at this point in time. Through DEP. Did you hear me?
I'm sorry, I could not hear you. I can now when you just said, could you hear me?
So I am not familiar with an option to not do a sewer planning module. In fact, DEP has required even a single family home to do a sewer planning module.
Understood. So our team submitted the application, and the gentleman, the actual planning module application, it was submitted. And the gentleman reviewing came back with a few questions, and we explained the project, and he put in the email that I had submitted in with our resubmission materials that he deferred to whatever decision was made locally about it.
Right, so that doesn't actually provide an approval from DEP.
No. I understand that. I'm still working through, my apologies. I didn't mean to interrupt you. We're still working through our local approval to then send back to him for the final decision. I understand that that's not his approval, that he's waiting for someone else's decision and approval to make his.
Okay, so what that email explains is that the entire planning module needs to be filled out. A portion of that goes to the city because they do treatment. A portion of that goes to the township because we do conveyance. And then a portion goes to the county.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And we haven't seen any of it yet.
Okay. I'll have to check on that with my team. That was not my understanding.
Did we condition an approval based off of completing the sewer module?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so what's your motion to Mention on the engineer's letter and receiving a completed sewer.
Make a motion that the Texas Roadhouse Land Development Plan 2024-18 and 2317 Lincoln Highway East be approved, subject to the comments provided by the township engineer, the DMA letter of June 20th, 2025, and the county planning department's review dated July 31st, 2024, and including submission and approval of the required DEP sewer planning module.
Second. Motion by Mr. Jordan, second by Mr. Gallagher. Any board questions, comments, or discussion? Your staff? Yep. All right, any public comment? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You. All right, we'll move on to item 7, supervisor discussion items. We've got 2, one an update on our foundation.
Right, so Lisa Cleveland continues to search for other options rather than forming a standalone. And unfortunately, our vacations overlapped. And so I don't have an update for you on where it goes in that research.
Okay.
Continue to look for a partner rather than set up a standalone. It may save time down the road. So I think we should allow staff to continue to look for that partner, whoever that will be, and whenever that occurs.
Okay, looks like they'll have some updates for us. Maybe he's back and stuff. All right, any other comments on? All right, moving on to 7B, false alarm fee structure.
So a while ago, the board had discussed the false alarm fee structure, and the ESC had brought this up as well at their meeting, their last meeting, excuse me. And so we actually went back through and looked at all of the false alarms reported, and you have that listing in your packet. So our next step was to go to the ESC and discuss, what their thoughts on false alarms. The meeting was scheduled for this Thursday. Unfortunately, there's not a quorum to hold that meeting. And so we're looking to reschedule that meeting in August rather than wait until September. And then I hope to come back to the board after the ESC meets and may have thoughts on the false alarm fees to provide to you as a recommendation.
So when the ESC meets, will they know by the address whether it's hand in hand or?
I can tell you
Lafayette.
all of these were provided by Lafayette. There are some fire companies that don't believe that they should report false alarms because they feel that they may not get the donations.
Okay.
This data is from Lafayette.
This is Lafayette only.
Well,
This-
this data is what's in our database as reported to us, and it's all from Lafayette.
Okay.
There are probably more in other areas.
Certainly has been brought up at the ESC meeting.
I mean, my business used to be located in Whitmer's coverage area. We had more than 3 in 1 year because someone had a balloon that kept floating after a birthday. Finally fixed it.
So one of the questions that the ESC brought up was questioning the intake of funds from false alarms, because it was very low in 2024. I believe it was $150. And so they wanted to know, how many were there, how many invoices went out. And quite honestly, to be frank, the township's not going to go after a $50 fee. It's going to cost us more in recovery costs to get that $50 fee. And so you'll see on this list, there's one that has 7. And so that one may be worth going after, but the remainder of them, there's one with 5, and then the rest are 1 or 2. So that 50 to $100 is just not honestly worth township staff's time and the cost to go after.
So a couple thoughts that I put together, and I'm happy to send this around probably to prompt ESC's discussion a little bit. So I did a quick look at some other municipalities in the surrounding counties as well, but so this is just Lafayette's data. So basically 25% of the properties generated almost 80% of the alarms. So the goal would be really, the goal isn't to generate revenue, it's to say, let's reduce the number of false alarms and encourage people to actually maintain their systems so that they work well. My business is currently in Manheim Township. We had an issue with our alarm that wasn't great, but not a high priority. So, but after 3 strikes, we had to go through and reapply before they would even come out again. And that motivated us to call security system, and they went out, overhauled, found the actual issue. We fixed it. We haven't had an issue ever since. So the goal is, how do you get the business to actually be as safe as it is as possible?
So just so I know, you're saying after 3, they said, we're not going to respond to these?
Basically, they revoke your license until you can get it, then you have to reapply. So they have a registration. If you have an alarm system, there's an annual registration you do with the municipality. It's inspected.
And does your insurance company know about it? I mean, to me, that's the big
Yeah.
incentive.
I mean, it'll go on your record as well, but if you get more than 3 calls, they charge you after the first couple. So some of the things that I think would be worthy of discussion by the ESC to get their feedback. One would be a revised fine schedule to basically say, all right, maybe a warning for the first one, as opposed to starting fines right away. A warning that says, and then have the fines escalate very quickly. Up to like $100, and it keeps going up. So $100, $200, 300, and then after 5, it's $500 a pop. So the goal is there's enough incentive to like fix your fire alarm, because obviously it's not working well. We could look at a mandatory system inspection after the 3rd false alarm, or pick a number where it says at a certain number, you've got a problem, we mandate the inspection. We could go and say everyone has to do an annual alarm registration. That would be a little more complex. I don't know if we want to do that right now. And then there is, some townships do a suspension of response. So we could say, hey, you hit like 15 false alarms, we're just not coming anymore. And then their insurance. But those are the ones, like when you take action like that, if the company has any insurance, their insurance is going to yell at them much louder than we can. And then the other one I looked at that other folks have done is sort of a fee waiver of, hey, if you found an issue and upgraded it, and you are no false alarms after that for 90 days, we'll waive your past fees as a way of, hey, if you fix it and there aren't any issues. Because the goal is really, we want the alarms to be correct and accurate and the people safe, and we don't want false alarms, but we want the system not to work. Because there are also other ways to avoid false alarms, which is to turn off your alarm system. We don't want that.
So if we would hold the fees till the end of the year and proactively say this number 7, tell them in July, you're already at 4 or 5. Let's get it cleaned up. And at that point, we could discuss how much they would actually owe as in against billing per incident, which is, as Tara said, it's going to cost more than $50 to bill $50.
So something else that we found as we looked through this, the board adopted a resolution in 2012, December of 2012, that increased the fees. The old system was that you had 3 free and then you were billed. That hasn't been happening. So the new fee schedule has not been happening. It has been billed under the old fee schedule. That's a mistake of mine. So this happened in a time frame where I was assuming duties of finance director and other duties. So that did not move forward as it should have.
And what was the date that was?
Yeah, what was
That
the
was
date about this?
December of 22.
That's, okay, so you're referring to that
And what
as
was
the
the
new
new
fee schedule,
That's correct.
2022.
It's what, $50 for the first one and then
100
100 for the second, and then it just goes up
150. It continues to.
$50 per quarter.
Is there anything, I'm trying to read the hotel nuisance ordinance. The two highest, I didn't look at the entire list, but the two highest are hotels. Is there anything in the hotel nuisance ordinance that touches on this as a potential nuisance?
Not that I recall. Do you? I don't know.
There's nothing in there now, but that's something we discussed a little bit of. We could put that as one of the triggers of, hey,
Yeah, it doesn't.
if you trigger this threshold in our false alarm structure, you're automatically a nuisance hotel.
And why it makes sense is we've had feedback that says that's having a positive effect. The nuisance ordinance is working.
That's a little, it forces them to sit down and talk about what they're going to do to fix it, as opposed to, hey, I got a bill for $50 in the mail, which I'll ignore until I get a more. Because that's what seems to, basically, it's what's the incentive to get the property owner to stop working, sit down and say, all right, what's wrong? How do we fix it? That's really what we're trying to find, is that what's the incentive to do that, whether it's a carrot or a stick, or you go onto this list that forces somebody to go out and sit down with you. Yeah, I'm open to whatever the ESC wants to do. The other one we could look at as well, I don't know if we track would be maybe overlaying these against our police false alarms. Because usually it's the same system. So usually if someone's got a whole bunch of fire alarms, the burglar alarm's going off too.
I recall seeing some of the schools on there, Smoketown, Alveola, Fritz is on there multiple times, but I think it's a good idea to look at that as well. Turkey Hills are on there.
The police false alarms are a different fee schedule completely. Those you have for free and then you are billed.
Well, we've had some realities in terms of staffing and so forth. I don't think we should change anything until we really just use the 2022 fee schedule and
Yeah.
follow it up and, those things happen, but you can respond to that.
Any other discussion under board discussion items? All right, we'll move on to item 8, action items, public hearing for amendment to subdivision land development regarding the park and recreation fee in lieu of. And this has been duly advertised. Hereby open the hearing. We've got the ordinance as drafted.
Did review this, weighed in and agreed that this was a good direction to move in for this amendment. So each year township staff would determine the median value of the land. Of the average assessed value, which doesn't include the agricultural properties. Or the, agricultural zone properties and the tax exempt properties. And then that would be multiplied by the common level ratio to determine the figure that could be used in the ordinance. And then, as you are aware, there's the credit options within this ordinance.
The logistics of getting that data, like go into the how quickly will that data be available to do the calculation?
Yeah.
If the plan does come in.
So we would likely have to utilize the
Past years.
the end of 25 or the very beginning of 26 to have an up-to-date number.
Likely would be any benefit. I mean, I guess if prices continue to go up, you would benefit as well.
It took approximately 2 weeks to work through with the county, getting that data in the form that we needed, because it had to come through based on zoning and then had to come through based on the tax exempt, which that part was easy. The zoning piece, they had a little more difficulty.
Any other questions? Now I'll entertain a motion to adopt the ordinance change.
Just close the hearing. Just close the hearing for motion to close the hearing.
Motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Thornton to close the hearing. Any board comment, public comment? Hearing none, the hearing is closed. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the amended ordinance.
Make a motion to adopt the new ordinance. And
Motion by Mr. Thornton, second, motion by Mr. Rudd, second by Mr. Thornton. Any public discussion or board comment? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those for abstentions, motion passes. Move on to item 8D, selection of a hearing date regarding the conditional use application for 2673 Lincoln Highway East. Conditional use in front of us. We've been working with, looking at August 18th for. Briefly with Ralph about, I'm available at like 4:30 at the earliest on that day. So 4:30 would work. You won't be there.
Yeah, I'm not likely not gonna be there. At this point, not.
Okay, August 18th at 4:30. I will let the party know and the select.
Motion to set that time and date. Let it be written, let it be so. All right, item C, approval of PennDOT winter maintenance agreement. We're doing some changes of our roads.
Right, so the winter maintenance agreement is slightly different than you're accustomed to seeing. In past years, it actually spelled out the October date of each year and listed the 5-year increments. It now is a 5-year agreement with the option to extend that for another 5 years with a 2% increase each year. So we, in essence, we wouldn't have to come back to this every 5 years and take a look at it again. The other difference is that Pitney Road has been removed from this winter maintenance agreement. At PennDOT's doing, as they asked East Lampeter to also take on Hempstead Road, which is in the city. So when Charlie Thomas pointed that out, they indicated that if we didn't take on Hempstead, they were taking Pitney back from us. So this is our new agreement.
I have a feeling like Pitney's not gonna get hit, like meaning we're not gonna do it. But we'll see.
We'll see.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Winter again.
We're gonna get snow.
So we're down the Greenfield Road, Mount Sydney Road, and North Rocks Road.
Okay. I'll obtain a motion to approve the PennDOT winter maintenance agreement.
make a motion to approve the new PennDOT winter maintenance service agreement on a DOT as noted. Second.
Motion by Mr. Rudd, second by Mr. Gallagher. Any public comment or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstention, the motion passes. Item D, purchase of property located at 89 Strasburg Pike. Want to give us a brief overview?
I'm gonna ask Hutch to provide us with.
So 89 Strasburg Pike is a property which is located, well, it's completely surrounded by Florida. Property has been there since the township acquired for the property that we know as Florida Park. We entered into, the township entered into an agreement with the owners, Mr. and Mrs. Newhouser, back in the late 1990s. There was a small swap of land going on. They wanted a little police park and exchange. It ended up being a net zero change in acreage. But at that time, the township negotiated an agreement with them that whenever the family didn't want the property anymore, whenever Bob and his wife asked and the family didn't want to own the property anymore, the township would have the opportunity to purchase it. And so Mr. Newhouser, Mrs. Newhouser passed away a number of years ago. Mr. Newhouser passed away in May, which triggered this opportunity under the 1990s. That agreement indicates that the township can purchase the property at 95% of the appraised value. The property has been appraised by an appraiser hired by the Newhouser family. And so essentially asking the board to indicate whether or not the board wants to move forward and execute on the agreement that's been in place since the 90s to purchase the property. The appraised value was is $508,000. And at 95%, we would pay, the township would pay $482,600 to acquire the property. It's 1.8 acres of land with improvements on it. Since it is completely surrounded by property that the township owns and is developing as Florida Park, I would recommend that the board authorize moving forward. We would be required to settle on the property within 60 days.
Any questions or comments from the board? Mr. Nunn, I'll entertain a motion to accept the agreement for sale of real estate.
Question, how would you describe then the original 90s agreement? Do we have a way of describing that?
It was
Is it an original?
essentially a first right of refusal kind of arrangement.
It was the original? Or was there anything else?
Well, that is the only agreement that was in place that set up this relationship that the township would have this opportunity to purchase.
Any other questions? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to purchase to have staff move into the agreement to purchase the property located at 89 Strasburg Pike, understanding that that address is completely surrounded by Florida Park and that it be done so executing the agreement for the township to have first right of way.
Right, we have a motion by Mr. Thornton.
Second.
Second by Mr. Rudd. Any board comment or questions? Any public comment? I'll just make one comment. I think it's a good opportunity. We've got a lot of development happening in the township, and Flory Park we've got a trail, which we will be talking about later in this agenda. Well, not just in this agenda, we have, it's not on this one.
It is.
Oh, it is this one. So we'll be talking about that park. We have plans currently, we've had other plans in the past. We expect to do a lot more planning on how we can develop the asset of Flory Park so that more and more folks can utilize that. It's a great location. It's a great little park, but it's got a lot of potential to do a lot more and add a lot of benefit to the surrounding neighborhoods. So I think it's a good long-term investment from the township. All right, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? The motion passes. Move on to our next agenda item, which is approval of adding Alexander Wazalewski as a second building code official for East Lampeter Township.
So the Department of Labor and Industry allows us to now add multiple BCOs, building code officials for the township. We currently have David Sinopoli listed as a building code official for East Lampeter Township. Alexander went through the training course through the Department of Labor and Industry, passed the exam, and has been given his certification number. So we would like to add him as an additional BCO for the township.
Okay. Questions for staff? Here none, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve Alex Wazalewski as second building code official for East Lampeter Township.
I'll second. Motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Gallagher. Any public comment or board comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have the acceptance, item F, acceptance of the 2024 financial audit statement from Irvine and Company. Any comments from staff on this or board members who were present for the audit review?
We did meet with the township's auditing firm and reviewed their reports. All the reports were provided to you, the reports on the township, as well as the ICDA and the sewer authority, which are component parts of the township's financial statements. We provided the summary document sort of in a PowerPoint format to sort of summarize their findings. And if you're going to go through any of them, I would recommend you use that one as sort of the best reference material, and I think it'll give you a more clear understanding than sort of the normal dry CFO. You're welcome to read all of them, of course, but I think that one summarizes it very well. They had nothing but positive things to say about doing the audit and the findings of the audit and the township's financial solution. Very favorable.
And I'll add, and also our township staff in providing the information that they asked for. So there's no situation in our state. So that's what I'm saying.
Summary was very good presentation, and it's very good news.
Yeah.
For how our township is run, so.
Any other questions or comments on these? Any motion to accept the 2024 financial audit as presented?
Make a motion to accept the 2024 financial audit statement as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Thornton, second by Mr. Rutt. Any public comment, board comment? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Motion passes. Item G, approval of easement documents for Lincoln Highway Streetscape Project for 2357 and 2394.
Slowly getting there for all 27 of them. So here's two more, 2357 and 2394 are before you tonight for approval of these.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the easements for the streetscape phase 3 project. The lists.
That's good. That's good. I have a motion by Mr. Meyer. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Thornton. Any board comment or public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed or abstentions? Motion passes. Item H, acceptance of low bid for Strasburg Park Oakview Road Trail Construction Project.
So you have the printout before you of the bids that were received for the trail project. That this was through the PennDOT system, and the lowest bid came in at JVI Group, $1,026,884.70. This is county tip money that we have to do this project. And we have $1.5 million. So this came in well under bid, which is fantastic. It rarely happens. So definitely within budget. So township staff would recommend that you move forward with authorizing the lowest bid. And this has also been looked at by the township's design consultant, and they agreed that everything was in order.
Excellent. I'll entertain a motion to accept the low bid.
I'll make a motion that we accept the low bid from JVI Group for the Strasburg Pike to Oakview Road Trail Construction Project. Do I need to list the amount?
You don't have to, I just said it.
All right, motion by Mr. Gallagher, second by Mr. Gordon. Any public comment or board comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed or abstentions? Any other final public comment or board comment for the evening? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to, actually, no, we have, sorry, one more. Manager's report. It's on the agenda, but let's go.
Just like to Peace as the assistant township manager for East Lampeter Township, really joined us after being manager of Hunlock Creek Township for the past 7 years. And she started on July 8th, so we welcome her.
Well, straight from a fire hose. There's a lot of things going on. All right, well, welcome. Any other items from the manager's report?
Thank you.
All right. Any last minute public comment? Hearing none, I'll go to adjourn. Motion adjourned by Mr. Meyer. Second by Mr. Thornton. Public comment, fourth comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Passes. We are adjourned.